They say the power of thought is the most powerful force in the universe, but story is the most powerful means to communicate that thought. It's not just the beginning, middle, and end. It's the continual unfolding of our universe. Storytelling is about not just a human experience, but it's the experience of all of us. I like to think of it also as the quilt in Appalachia. It's the connection that binds all of us.
Storytelling unites people because it speaks to us in that space before we draw lines between one another. The lines of male, female, gender identification, the lines of race that are so deeply carved in our culture.
Well, storytelling is the crack in the wall. It's an entry point to understanding. It's not going to completely change everybody, but if there's an opportunity that exists to get better understanding, it's going to almost always occur through storytelling.
I think storytelling has the power really to change the world. There's a folktale that says once you've shared stories with one another, you can't be enemies. Once you've heard one another's stories, you become friends.
The power of a story is it can heal. It can genuinely heal people's harms and hurts that have been put upon them, harms and hurts that they have put upon other people. It can genuinely challenge people's perceptions and move them to make a true change.
When it comes to difficult conversations, storytelling is the main way, I think, to get that done. Generally, stories that aren't personal narratives, maybe I knew of someone, or I heard of something, or there was a fox and a rabbit that didn't quite get along. It works for the children. I don't know why people don't understand we're just tall children. In storytelling, anything you want to teach your kids, you start with a story. Same thing, just not delivered in a patronizing way.
To look at these moments and historical moments and these events, who's been left behind and whose stories haven't we heard? How do we center the stories of those historically marginalized, bring them to the center? And how can we transform ourselves into a nation that celebrates or recognizes, acknowledges those stories that we've left behind and those people? And how does it amplify those voices that never had the microphone?
The South rewrote its entire history in a single generation through stories. The story of the Civil War, its causes, its aftermath, its heroes, its legends. Only the South could rewrite history so brilliantly and so articulate and so wrong.
The majority people need to tell the majority stories. The story of a lynching should not be told by a Black person. The story of a lynching should be told by a white person, because that's a white person's story. And white people need to tell their story. Sometimes they don't like their story. All the more reason to tell it so we can learn from that.
It really comes down to there's a fear. There's just this seed of fear of change. There's a seed of fear of difference. Through exposure, then you get more comfortable with that idea. And the more comfortable people become with that idea, the more open they become.
It's important to understand that there is history, and a lot of it is painful. But we wouldn't be where we are now had not someone wanted to change that history into something better.
Look around you. There's not one person that looks American. There's multiple people that look American. There's multiple people that live or work or visit or call this place home. And there's not one single story. There's not one single narrative. There's multiple, there's a multitude. And that multiculturalism is core to our story from the beginning. And it's core to our story going forward. And EPU and ISC working together is not just about narrative change, it's a reflection. It's a chance to look around and saying, look around us. We have one of the greatest cultural assets in the world of what we have around us, multiple stories. And when we get to really celebrate that, then anything is really possible.
I've been doing this now for almost 30 years, and we just get more and more divided, and there's less and less we can laugh at together. And there's more and more to worry about, it seems like. So I want my stories to be more inclusive and not heavily political. I just want to have created an accepting world that allows other people to think maybe I should be more accepting myself.
So a good story will remind you of your own story. And when it does, connections happen in ways that you don't expect. And then that can lead to conversations that are that are absolutely amazing and can be life-changing.
So one of the most important roles of the storyteller in any community is to help people maintain hope. Whatever we focus on grows. If we focus on despair, despair grows. If we focus on hope, hope grows and thrives.